This is the brand new New Balance More V6, the most comfortable shoe money can buy. Or is it? Today, I'm going to be blind testing this new version against the previous one, the More V5, and comparing it to a ton of other max cushion shoes from Nike, Adidas, and more. All to find out if this is really as insanely comfortable as they say. Or is it just a visual tweak? But before the wear test, we're going to be doing a blinded test. So the shoes have just come in. I have not tried the V6s yet. Obviously, I've tried the V5s, but I thought it'd be pretty good for not just me to do the blinded test, but we also got Dylan back again. And to add an even extra layer of blindfoldedness, you're not even gonna see the shoes. It's gonna be a complete mystery to what's on your feet. Okay? Right, so first things first, chuck this bad boy on, blindfold yourself while I pull out the shoes. Becoming a bit of a frequent happening. Yeah, I mean, I like this new test style. I think it really is effective. How we normally do it is we're gonna have one shoe on one foot and the other shoe on the other foot. So I'm just gonna randomize it a little bit. Make sure you don't hear which box I'm pulling it from.
Have I worn these shoes before?
No, but you have seen them before.
I know these allegedly the world's most comfortable shoes.
Allegedly. We're gonna find that out today. Let's chuck them on. Really try and like identify which one's softer. It might be marginal, one might be completely more comfortable than the other. And then, before you lock in, I don't want you to tell me because we're gonna do my test first. So this test also includes a solid ground test. So once you've been walking for a little bit and you feel like you've got enough data, step off, feel it out on the tile, give it a squish, see which foam feels a little bit better, and then lock in your answer and we'll reveal it at the end.
They feel very similar. However, there are some differences. All right, I think I've got a winner.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Full data conclusion?
Yeah, I've done a lot of movements.
Okay, all right. Well, I guess let me take them off and then let me randomize them. Right, so still has not seen the shoes. I'm gonna put them back here. I'm going to tuck them inside and I'm going to randomize. All right, you may look. Welcome back. Whew.
All right, step on.
Oh, it's unsettling.
Don't be so
How
timid.
have you been doing this so easily?
All right, and away we go. Speak us through it, bud.
All right, I'm trying to get some nice heel squish in there and be really... I think the right is softer. I don't know, the right just feels more...
Use your words.
Not contained, like it just feels like a nice feeling of foam underneath and then the upper also feels really nice. This one feels like a little bit more, I don't know, rigid to some extent. Whereas this one, I feel like it's got a nice 360 experience, if that makes sense.
All right.
No, this ride is definitely softer.
Yeah.
Reveal?
Yep.
Should I just, let's go for it. So I'm locking in right. 3, 2, 1. Right. Yeah.
So which one's the newer one?
This is the newer one.
Yeah, that's the softer one?
Yeah. All right, and yours was right or left?
Right.
Right was softer.
Was that was that the new one?
We'll look back at the footage, but
Okay.
I believe it was this one. We'll
Yeah.
double check. Okay, so it's softer. The new one is softer. They're chunky boys, huh?
And I was gonna say, now looking at them, I could very easily say the newer ones look better.
Yeah, they do. They just look sleeker. These are like, I don't know, they look more chunky and beefy.
Yeah.
But do you recognize it? You know who wears these?
No, who?
Really?
Who?
Ma.
Oh,
Yeah, I
of
got
course,
these-
because they're all black though, that I wouldn't notice.
Yeah, she wanted a comfortable shoe, so I bought her these.
Yeah, she wears them every day.
Every day, yeah. And also, just to confirm, feel the foam in hand and squish it and see which one's softer.
Yeah, that's significant. So they have upgraded it.
Yeah. All right, bud. Thanks for your help.
Appreciate it. See you next time.
So what are the actual changes that New Balance made to this new version? Well, it's pretty interesting because a lot of the changes are minor, but after wearing them around for a while, I've tested these not only side by side with this shoe, but a bunch of other max cushion shoes. The changes that they've seemed to have made minor, but still pretty significant in the overall experience at the end, at least in comparison to this. For starters, I think the clear thing has to be the visual changes, which I do appreciate. I never really liked the look of these that much. I just thought that the midsole looked way too chunky and big, and I wasn't a big fan of like the geometric oval shapes that they had on the midsole. But this one, it just seems like they've simplified it, made it look a lot more sleek, removed some of those oval shapes, even though they are kind of still present on the midsole. It's not kind of sticking out from the side. The mesh on the upper looks better. It looks and feels more premium. You now have a different New Balance logo, which just looks a little bit more minimal, clean, maybe a little bit more futuristic, and it's consistent from the medial and lateral side, which I think is pretty cool. Now, according to New Balance, the foam is the exact same, and so is the stack height, which was pretty interesting after I tried these things on, because it did really feel like the V6 was softer, and in fact it is. Now, that could actually be a change in the type of way that they set up this foam, or it could just be the way that they've newly designed it. Regardless, it feels softer, which I think is, if you're buying a pair of shoes with this amount of foam in there, softness is what you're aiming for. Now, my theory to why this feels softer on foot, and potentially why it looks better as well, is that they've now shrunken the sidewalls of the foam. So you see how massive this stack of foam looks? It actually looks bigger than the V6, even though they're supposed to be the same. Well, that's because on this V5, this foam isn't actually what you're walking on. It actually extends onto the upper of the shoe. So it just looks like way over the top in terms of the amount of cushioning, especially from the inside. It's massive. So they've shrunk that down. They've again made it more sleek. It's just everything that you see here for the most part is what you're walking on. And I believe with that shrinking of the sidewalls, it makes it feel just a little bit softer on foot. I mean, honestly, the foam that New Balance is using is ridiculously soft. It has to be the softest foam I have ever tried on. And that combination of the super soft foam with this really nice upper, it is an incredible experience on foot. It's really well padded both around the ankle area and the tongue. The sizing is really great because New Balance offers wide, which I think is just like low-key. If you're buying a pair of New Balance shoes, maybe you have slightly wider feet, go for the wide option. It feels great. It just allows your toes to breathe and feel better overall in terms of comfort. I went true to size, and that's what I'm going to recommend. I do believe these fit true to size, and they haven't changed anything up in terms of sizing. So if you previously had this pair of shoes and for some reason, I don't know, maybe you cooked these and you're looking at the V6, just stick with that same exact size. But I guess while we're on the topic of like if you should get these over these, I will say it is still a very, very similar experience. It's not like it's a huge leap and a huge improvement. It is marginal. Like, yes, this is more comfortable, and I think this is the better shoe, the V6s. But if you just bought the V5s, I don't think there's any need to panic. You're still getting a great shoe that is super comfy. And maybe there's even an argument that if you can now find these on sale significantly cheaper than the V6s, just stick with these. I also wanted to talk about a few different shoes that I tried these side by side with. The Vomero 18s was one of the first one because I know that that's like Nike's largest stack shoe and would be their most max cushioning option. So comparing them side by side, I thought, which one's going to be more comfortable? And it's clearly the V6s. It's also an interesting, like, different feel on foot. The Vomeros are definitely firmer. They have a little bit more of a reactive, snappier feel to them. However, these just have that really significantly cushioned marshmallow effect underfoot. In terms of Adidas's lineup, obviously comparing these to the most popular one, I think would be the Evo SL in terms of comfort, but they're two just very different shoes. It really depends on like what you're looking for when it comes to a sneaker. The Evo SL is significantly lighter, but it does have a firmer cushion in the midsole. It's a little bit more snappier and responsive. These are a lot more just marshmallowy cushion. I think they're best for like everyday wear and walking around, obviously running as well, but I mean, it depends again what kind of running. Like this would literally just be for recovery runs. I think where this pair of shoes really shines is the everyday aspect. Like if you're someone who just likes to stay hitting your 10K steps a day, this would be a great pair of shoes to do that with. Wearing them to work, or if you have a commute where you walk to work, if you have them in your rotation and you know you're going to be out all day doing a lot of walking, or you know, going someplace where you have to stand around, again, this is a great, or in fact, probably the perfect shoe and the one I would recommend. Another extremely popular max cushion shoe was the Brooks Glycerin Max, a pair of shoes that, again, is super chunky and a super high, thick stack of foam. But compared to these, it's just not as soft, and you really do feel that underfoot. So I would pick these out of all of the other max cushion options. So is this the most comfortable shoe on the planet? Is this the most comfortable shoe that money can buy? Well, the short answer is yes. If you're looking for a max cushion shoe, I do believe this is the best out there. But again, it really depends what you're looking for. These are not going to be something that is your super lightweight, snappier stuff that you would want to wear if you're, you know, hybrid running, but also wearing casually. I feel like these really do perform the best for like every day, just standing around doing, you know, recovery runs. It's like, it's the slower, more chilled out, comfy shoe. But for me personally, something like the Evo SL or the New Balance Rebel V5, those are my go-to for like comfortable everyday shoes, just because I can also hybrid run in them when I need to. I can wear them to the gym. I can still be super comfortable. But yeah, overall, great pair of shoes from New Balance and a really crazy experience. If you've never tried like a super max cushion shoe and you immediately go to this, it's a pretty crazy experience walking around in these. It's so soft, it's so cushioned, and your feet just feel like they're in heaven. But yeah, honestly, both of these are great options. Again, I guess the main sentiment is that it's not a generational leap to the V6 from the V5s. Both are extremely comfortable, and I think some people might even find it hard to distinguish the feel of each one on foot. But yeah, these max cushion shoes are definitely an acquired taste. This one less so. I do think it's actually a pretty good looking max cushion shoe, considering what's out there with the things that, you know, Hoka's doing, and even the Brooks Glycerin shoes. Those look crazy, but this is nice. Either way, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. Have you tried these? Have you tried the More V5s? Which one do you prefer in terms of looks? And of course, if you do want to check out another video, I'm going to throw one up in the top left-hand corner. Check it out.